Welcome to the Alpha Label Podcast, your twice weekly dose of sanity, or I'm sorry, daily dose of sanity in an insane world. Ladies and gentlemen, we got some things we need to talk about tonight. Looks like AOC's district has seen a 70% increase in crime since 2019 to 2024. It has gone insane, and the people are, well, they're more than upset at this area. We also got to give you guys a little bit of update about the prison story we broke not too long ago. It seems like we were right. Workers have been arrested for helping the inmates escape, and we'll talk about the Monica MacGyver situation again because she is now facing assault charges. We got a guest with us tonight. It's going to be a good show. We are back on StreamYard, so visually it's not going to be there tonight, but we appreciate you for being here anyway. Let's go.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing. Won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. I'll make it look like I'm losing. Won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.
It has been a rough stretch of weather in
Why is it not? There's no sound. Can I not hear it?
Athens after dealing.
Well, shit, we done screwed it up, ladies and gentlemen. Hold up. Oh, you know what? I know what it is. Unmute tab. There we go. That's what it was. Here we go.
It has been a rough stretch of weather in Athens after dealing with a tornado back in December. The city got hit again last night, this time with heavy rain, flooding, and power outages. As our Fox 54 Ken McCoy tells us, Mayor Ronnie Marks says it's been a tough few months, but the community and city crews are stepping up once again.
It's a tough time, tough situation. You know, got hit on December 28th with a tornado downtown.
Yes, there was.
And then last night, the warnings started coming in. You could see them. After what had happened in Kentucky, you could kind of feel it. If you grow up here in North Alabama, you kind of feel that storm, and then the supercells started coming. And sure enough, about 5:30 last night, we got hammered and we got hit with heavy rains and then some straight winds. And I don't know that there was a confirmed tornado. I'd had reports of about 2.5 to 3 inches fell in probably less than 2 hours.
Jesus.
Our guys waited for the very intense lightning strikes to kind of move through. And then we hit the ground and we started running and we started restoring power. We had about 15,000 out of power initially. We've got that down to about 2,700. Most of it is isolated in the Lucas Ferry Road area and Browns Ferry
That's my
Road. It's
area.
on the west side of Athens.
Lucas
and
Ferry Road.
You learn to be ready and be on standby. Our street department clearing trees.
That's my road that
these
I
guys
usually
and
go to
ladies,
work
they
on.
hit the ground. All the way from public relations to us trying to keep people informed, to the school system opening the storm shelter, and just the availability of folks. It's really, I don't mean to
I'm
say
sorry,
it's
but
what
that
we do,
accent he
it's
has
what we
scares
do.
me. I don't know why.
I will say this, though. For a town of 30,000 people, half of them were out, and within 12 hours, they got it down to 2,700 people still out of power. Well fucking done.
I was going to say, that's
David,
pretty quick.
Yes, they worked round the clock. They haven't stopped. They are still out there right now. Well done. That's what my tax dollars is for, damn it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Coleman.
Adam, tell us
Howdy.
about yourself for everybody that doesn't know. Who are you?
I don't know. Who am I?
The
I'm
man. The man.
I'm just a guy. I'm the founder of Bronxy Publishing, the author of 2 books, Black Victim, Black Victor, and the new book right behind me, The Children We Left Behind, just came out April 1st. I'm also the co-founder of Thirst Entertainment, which is a startup. It's not officially come out yet, but it's a project that we're working on. Hopefully be out sometime this summer.
Oh,
And a frequent contributor for the New York Post, and has done lots of podcasts and television internationally. I actually get more play internationally than I do in the United States.
Hey,
Funny enough.
you were just in London, weren't you?
I was just in London, yeah. And part of it was I went on Talk TV,
right.
because I do a couple of remotes for Talk a month probably, and then I do Sky News Australia. I was just on Sky News Australia last night.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, Rita's great. She hits me up, and I do my American. It's actually interesting to do foreign media because you end up being like the voice of the country,
Right.
whereas like in America you're just a dude who has an opinion. But so it's like a lot of, not saying a lot of responsibility because I'm just saying how I feel, but it's
Pretty much.
interesting because they're like, oh, we got an American. Tell us
Right.
what's going on there. Like, oh shoot.
Do you want to know what's
Yeah.
actually happening, or do you want to know what they tell us is happening? Because that's 2 different things.
Well, yeah. Well, mostly they want my opinion based off
Okay.
of certain things that are going on. But yeah, that's as far as like my professional career, former IT guy turned media guy. And I'm a father to a 19-year-old, and
Oh. How's that? Like, I have a 21-year-old.
Mm.
Oh, it's insane, isn't it? I'm a father of a 21-year-old and an 8-month-old.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, so my son primarily lives with his mother,
Mhm.
which we have a great relationship, but his mother just recently moved farther away. But even still, before she moved, he was living his best life. He got a car, he had a job, and he was just like, I'll let you know when I can stop by, Dad. Like it's one of those things.
Listen,
Right.
I've always been a proponent of co-parenting.
Yeah.
Me
Right.
and my daughter's mother didn't co-parent.
Mm.
She just wanted to keep her to herself. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
it bothered me. I said for years, we need to co-parent. And so my daughter at one point told me that I didn't pay child support. And I'm like, what do you talk about? I paid every week. And it was one of those things where, like, co-parenting is such a good thing to have a healthy relationship, even if you guys don't get along. Co-parenting is a great thing. You need to co-parent.
Yeah.
And be in the child's life and everything like that. And
Well, I mean that actually does kind of go back to Adam here, because he does speak openly about living in a fatherless home as far as that goes. How do you feel about that there, Adam?
Well, as far as co-parenting,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I did with my son's mother. I never talked negatively about her to my son. She didn't do that with him. She got married, had a couple more kids with somebody else.
Right.
We always respect each other. If something's happening, she'd reach out to me, let me know. We didn't need to like hang out. I came to get my son, drop him off. I can get him whenever I wanted to. So the vast majority of his life has been relatively straightforward, in a co-parenting
Structured.
situation.
That's
Yeah.
what he needs. The structure behind that. Yes.
Yeah. And he had a stepfather for a while. They ended up getting divorced. So there's another man, which complicates things a little bit. But
Hmm.
my son always knew who his father was. He always knows he can come to me,
Yeah.
and discuss whatever we want.
See, I don't
So
have any kids myself, but growing up from a father that was actually there physically, but not mentally or emotionally teaching me anything, it kind of hits home to me because I found my leadership from other households. Like my friends'
yeah,
parents were the ones that I were looking up to as far as that goes. So I can understand that. But I do want to ask you a question.
yep.
What led you to starting Wrong Speak?
Well, the first thing if I give like a little bit of the origin story, the first thing I ever did really was write Black Victim and Black Victor. It just straight out of the gate, just wanted to write a book.
Right.
I started Wrong Speak because the book was about race, and there's a lot of stuff going on during 2020. I don't know if you guys are familiar.
No, not at all. I'm
Not at
completely
all.
oblivious. I'm the only white
Uh,
guy in my black neighborhood. Me and my wife. So yeah.
It has been a rough
Oh,
stretch of weather in
I'm sorry. Hold on. No, I can get rid of that one now.
I think she was making commentary about 2020.
Yeah, well, that too. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah. So I was writing about that, and then I started Wrong Speak to like initially to vent about other things outside of the book, and then for some time I stopped writing because it was almost like it was a personal blog. That's kind of how it started. And then I stopped and I focused centrally on the book. When I was done with the book, I realized I was like, you know what? This entire process was very cathartic. Like it was very beneficial for me. Why not turn Wrong Speak into a place for other people to publish their work? So my entire goal was to write just enough, but invite people to write and to
Right.
make it an open platform for people to submit articles and things like that. And then I'm trying to remember when, maybe by the end of 2022, I published the book in 2021, probably by 2022 sometime, I officially stopped writing for Wrong Speak. And it fully is a platform for other people and not for me.
Nice.
So that's kind of how it started. I got connected with Audra. Audra was my first editor, and now she's a contributing editor. And then Rebecca took over. Rebecca is our opinion editor. We had Haley. I saw in the promo you had Haley Kennington.
Yeah, I love Haley.
Yeah.
Why do you like Haley so much? I don't like her.
I love
Okay,
Haley because she has the ability, no matter what, to keep me calm. No matter what's going on, just like having a conversation with her, I am just completely just like zen as hell for no reason, and I don't get it. But yeah.
She's a good soul.
Oh yeah.
But she actually, so I got connected to her through another publication we were writing for that no longer exists. And that's how we became friends. Then I was like, why don't you help me a little bit with Wrong Speak? So she helped me for a bit. We had like news portions going on. And long story short, she edited The Children We Left Behind. So,
Right.
So that's kind of like how our relationship goes. But yeah, the entire project of Wrong Speak, and there are some changes coming very soon when it comes to Wrong Speak, probably within hopefully next 2-3 weeks. But the entire project of Wrong Speak has expanded into like publishing other people's books. Only one book so far, and that's with our author Isabeth Lang. She was someone I met at a conference, and we became friends, and
Yeah.
we worked together to publish a book. So under Wrong Speak, technically there's 3 books. 2 of them are mine. One of them is Lisa Beth's.
Nice. It
And
sounds like you got a great start going on with it, though, man.
yeah, it's the book publishing is different for many reasons.
Right.
And obviously, as a business, you have to figure out, how do we approach this in the best way that is creative yet profitable, which is
Mhm.
tricky in the book publishing business, especially as an independent entity. So yeah, it's still a learning curve as far as that goes, and the growth is yet to come when it comes to Wrong Speak. And then with Thirst, which I'm a co-founder of, that's going to be something even bigger. That's going to be a streaming platform, on multiple. It's going to be a streaming network, I should say, on
There you
multiple
go.
platforms like Roku TV, Apple TV, so on and so forth. But it's going to be mostly non-political. It's going to be cultural, things that are beneficial. Focused on relationships, families, parenting, children,
There you go. All right.
informational, things of that nature, original content.
Nice. Nice. I
Yeah.
like to hear it. So, Davey, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You think he's ready for off label and how we do things?
I think he is. I think. Listen, I think Adam needs to bring off label onto.
Now you just try it.
Listen, I gotta shoot my shot when I can. It was so funny how me and Adam started talking. It was like a conversation at 1 a.m.
Right.
We were going back and forth. But yeah.
All right. Basically, what we do here is, I think you're ready for this. We can go ahead and do this. Like I said, beforehand. This is all organic. Adam can see it from the very beginning. Whatever you say how you feel, speak it from the chest. And let's have some fun tonight then, all right?
Yep.
All right, let's go. I want to throw this to you guys, ladies and gentlemen, because y'all remember this.
Sewer Jews?
No.
The cynics will tell you one
Close
vote
enough.
doesn't change anything.
Ugh.
But what they don't tell you is that nothing can change without a vote. A vote that isn't bought by Wall Street or lobbyists. A vote for guaranteed health care for every American. A vote to stand for our reproductive freedom and our civil rights. A vote to fight for a New York we can actually afford. You see, people like us were never supposed to run for office. And according to the cynics, we were definitely not supposed to win. But change isn't up to the cynics. It's up to us.
Oh,
No.
God. Oh, God.
That's the whole thing. We're supposed to be representative of ourselves. Like, I don't understand that. No, that we're supposed to. You're supposed to be a normal, everyday person running to be a senator or a congressman because you're supposed to represent your people.
You're supposed
It's not
to.
supposed to be. It's not supposed to be the millionaires and billionaires.
Until
it's
you get a
nuts.
book deal, and then it's just the billionaires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jennifer
Yeah,
with the dono, please elaborate on your books and its ties with the Wrong Speak organization. Jennifer said.
Oh, she's already. Yeah, she's scrolling out. Go ahead. Please elaborate on your books and his ties with the Wrong Speak organization.
Well, he-
Sure.
Yeah, he's the publishing behind that.
Yeah, he's the publisher.
That's the tie. Yeah, or unless you want me to give like a description of the books, maybe that's what she's asking. That's all right with you guys.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so Black Victim, Black Victor. It started in response to everything that was happening during 2020 and George Floyd, but the book isn't like directly talking about George Floyd. It's more so about the narrative that was going on, and it was for me. It was about the victim ideology, and I'm talking about a couple of things. I'm talking about victim ideology and how it affects people. And I'm also talking about the importance of families, because it was kind of answering the question of the time, what's the biggest problem facing Black Americans? And I was answering it as family separation. This is the biggest thing facing Black Americans. But I rounded out to say it's the biggest thing facing all Americans, essentially. So the title of the book makes it sound like it's a book that's completely about race, but it isn't. There are a lot of different things. There's things in there about morality. The victim ideology, you can take out Black and put whatever you want in it. It's the same stuff. So in some portions, I go back and forth between saying Black, and in other parts, I don't say anything about race. It's a general view. So if I'm talking about like childhood development and things like that, it doesn't matter what race they are. So there's a lot that people can take from it. You don't have to be Black to read it or anything like that. I've had someone tell me, I had two people. One person told me I wrote a really good self-help book. And
Victimhood is mental slavery. Thank you, KB.
Yeah.
It is.
And the other thing is that the title is kind of misleading in a good way, because people think they're going to read something and they're actually getting something much deeper than what they were expecting with going into it. The Children We Left Behind has a general thesis that the biggest issues facing our country are rooted in family separation or some sort of family dysfunction. So if we're talking about like the big stuff, violent crime, drug addiction, homelessness, which is usually linked to drug addiction in the first place. If we look at all these big things, sexual promiscuity, the link tends to be, more often than not, going down to, well, what was their childhood experience like? And there are children who grew up in foster care, grew up in single-parent homes, children of divorce, the list goes on. I've written about mass shooters. Majority of them grow up in some sort of dysfunctional or family separation situation.
Yeah.
So, there's a common link between all of these things. And so I'm kind of highlighting that. I do use an example of a mainstream story and how a lot of people were focused on the outcome, rightly so, but they weren't looking at the origin story for this person, because their origin story is not uncommon. Unfortunately, it's not uncommon. So I'm talking about like all the taboo things within it, as far as discipline, parental selfishness, how the adults rationalize their behavior to do the things that they want and drag their kids along, how they weaponize their kids.
Oh, that's gotten really bad. That's gotten really bad over there. And even looking back on my childhood, I can see how, my mother even abused me. Like I've even told you all the story about how like I was like 7, 8 years old. My mom had just finished cooking breakfast, and she had this little cast iron skillet that was perfect for cooking eggs, right? I came down to eat my breakfast.
Bam!
And I sat down and she was behind me and she farted and I laughed. And that cast iron skillet hit me in the back of the head. I'm not talking about like full swing kind of thing. It was more like a glancing blow like moms do kind of thing. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, you scalded the back of my head and hit me with a frying pan because I laughed because you farted. It's things like that that just kind of, it does shape a person.
Yeah.
But the problem is people don't know how to cope with it and come out of it. And what I'm getting with I haven't read your books or anything yet, but what I'm getting with when you're telling how this goes is it's just your first one, what is it? Black victim, Black Victor, Black victim to Black Victor. that one right there is kind of like a story of you coming into finding your own self. And then the other one was like, what have we done with our children?
Yeah. Essentially. What have we done to our children? And the answer is we've prioritized ourselves as the adults instead of prioritizing our children.
Right.
So, this is where you hear the stuff like, if I'm happy, my children will be happy, which is not how kids operate. Sometimes the thing that you want to do as the adult is actually more so for the benefit of your child to do the thing that they need and to sacrifice for them.
Right.
And I talk about the link between love and sacrifice. And you can't tell me that you love your kids if you're unwilling to sacrifice. So
That's true.
there's a lot that, and mind you, I'm not saying that this is just an American problem. This is a Western problem. The Brits have the same type of issue, which is why I was out in London to promote it. It might look a little bit different, but trust me, like when you start having these conversations with people, everyone's like, oh yeah, that was my story. Oh, my cousin's going through, like, I've yet to talk to someone who either didn't go through it themselves, some sort of family separation, or someone that's very close to them going through it or went through it. Like everyone has touched it to some extent, which tells you how prominent this problem is. It's just that we're told to, as the children, and I say this, I'm a child that was left behind. My father wasn't there. And we're told to, well, just move on. That's our dirt. Don't bring it up. Why are you still stuck on that? Or there's the excuse making. Oh, well, it was a different time. It was tough. Everyone else gets the sympathy. Everyone else gets the excuse. But the child who's the victim of this, like the legitimate victim of being mistreated, neglected, they're the ones who have to stay quiet. They're the ones who have to suck it up.
Yep.
So,
especially worse if you're a male.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not supposed to talk about our feelings. We're just supposed to deal with it.
Right.
So there's a lot of that. And the thing is, this isn't new. And if it was new, then maybe it would be something that would give most people hope, like, oh, we can catch it before it gets out of control. The problem is that this has been going on for multiple generations. It's just getting worse.
And it's a dissolution of the nuclear family. That is one thing that really does bother me. Like, I don't have kids biologically. I don't have kids of my own, and I'm happy with that. I'm fine with that because maybe my bloodline does need to die. No, it's just I played it up, and I was more careful with it, and now I'm with a woman who I truly do love, and I want to spend the rest of my life with me. Maybe she might not be able to have, bear my children. Cool, I'm fine with it, but I see all these people having these kids with all these random women who yeah, everybody has their story. There's two sides to every story. I get it with that, but it's literally just fatherless children and just a spawn of just living off the system to the whole point to where it's more profitable not even to have the man in the home.
Yeah.
And it scares me, especially because we do have a declining birth rate in this country. That's a thing. We already know that. Even on here, I showed you how the United Nations was saying this is going to be a problem. You shove immigrants into the situation. Lo and behold, here we are 20 years later. But after that, and just seeing the birth rate decline from like when we sat there in our heyday, the economy was everything. It was right before 2000. We've made that joke before. It was right before 2000. They were sitting there talking about it like mid 1990s when we were economically fucking sound. And they told you to stop having kids because we cannot build enough fucking stores for y'all to be employed. So they stopped having kids, and they told you to cut your kids' genitals off. And now we're here at 1.8 people coming into the workforce for every one leaving, who's living longer as soon as they leave. It's a problem. But yet here we are. I mean, I've tracked that a lot, Adam. Sorry, that that was a rant. I've tracked that a lot. It really bothers me because this influx of the immigrants and everything that we see, to these 21 million that have come in here, is literally because of economic reasons. You're supposed to be the end all be all. You're supposed to be the engineers, the electricians, and everything like that. Who picks your vegetables? Apparently, the immigrants. Isn't that kind of like isn't that kind of slavery though?
Well,
that was fucking perfect. Isn't that slavery? Well,
that was an untimely cough.
It was perfect though. It was...
Sorry, my throat got dry. I would say that it is exploitation.
Right.
And I've seen it up close. I know certain people, certain industries see it. And like you just gave the example, agriculture. Everyone usually uses agriculture as an example, and rightfully so. In many places, agriculture is like one of the top things that they notice. But where I live at in New Jersey, warehouses are the arena. New Jersey, and that's what I just wrote about in my latest New York Post article. In New Jersey, warehouses are a big deal. They're everywhere. There's a number of warehouses down the street from me. I live in the suburbs. They're all over the place.
Right.
So they're in cities, suburbs, rural areas. There's warehouses everywhere throughout New Jersey. And there's a logistic reason as to why, but it's over the past, I would say 10 or so years, it just sprouted up all over the place. And I used to work for, let's just say I used to do IT work for a company that supported a third-party company that would hire people for these warehouses. So I've been privy to go inside these warehouses, and you look around, and everyone there is Hispanic, and no one speaks English, or barely anyone speaks English. And these aren't just just some small warehouse, just a handful of people who run it. These are warehouses that I could tell you the brand names, and you would know the brand names. Like these are multinational corporations that run many of these warehouses.
Shit like Amazon and things like that. Yeah.
Bimbo.
Actually, I will say this. Amazon was never one that I went into, but I wouldn't be shocked if Amazon had some. But I think Amazon's very mixed with Americans and maybe some questionably illegal people.
Okay.
But
Chicken factories is the best one.
I have to ask you the question.
yeah.
Being a Jersey kid, Taylor ham or pork roll?
Hold on.
I think I usually
Taylor ham or pork roll, Adam. Come on. You know the right
depends
answer.
on my mood. It depends on my mood.
Adam, you can't know. No. Taylor ham or pork roll?
Taylor ham.
Thank you.
Okay.
Depends on the mood. Hold on. What do you mean by that?
Depends who he's talking to, actually. Depends who he's talking to. That's the big thing. It depends who he's talking to. If
Also, I think it depends where as well, because I don't know if all of New Jersey's like that. But also keep in mind, I've lived in New Jersey the longest. I've lived here for like 20 years. Well, I've lived in 5 states. So, I've been all over the place. Right. I've had to outlearn saying pop.
Yes. Jesus. Well, coming down here from the South, there was I say it, the biggest cultural shock I ever had. Like, I lived in Delaware before I came here, and
you lived in Delaware?
Yes.
Who lives in Delaware?
Joe Biden?
that's the only person I think lives in Delaware.
My entire life up until the vice presidency, Joe Biden had control of Delaware. Okay? That's sad. Shit. Anyway, I lived in Delaware and everything like that. And when I came here to the South, it was a big cultural shock for me because the biggest thing to me, I remember it like it was the back of my hand. it was a literal kick in the nuts to me. We were sitting in math class, like right before the bell rang. The teacher's just like, or right after the bell rang, teacher's like, hand up your homework, and I was like, hold on, I got 3 left to do. And she's, or I got, hold on, I got a few left to do. And she's like, okay, so how many do you like? Well, I like none of it. I understand that, but how much do you like? None of it. And this went on for a few minutes before somebody tapped me on the shoulder and just like, how many are you missing? I got 3 left to do. That's how much you like. And it hit me, like and lack are the same thing down here. And I'm going to have a problem. And that was my entry to the South. And from that moment, I was just like, I do have a Southern accent, but I cannot go to that kind of situation and just be like, I like something. I like 5 gallons of something. You know, it bothers me. It's that cultural shock that just kicks people in the nuts with things like that. And yeah, I do understand. But as far as New Jersey goes, you said you are in New Jersey. You live in New Jersey right now, right?
Yes, sir.
What do you think of this Rhett MacGyver situation?
What do I think?
I'm skipping the AOC. We'll come back to that later. Let's hit this up because this is hitting him personally.
I think all these people are a bunch of blowhards. I think they knew what they were doing. They knew that the cameras are there. And mind you, these people had tours throughout the facility, no problems. And then magically, when they get outside and they're like, all right, go the fuck home, now they got an issue. And it's like, now you have a problem. So they gave you the tour, and they were good people giving you tours. And then you get outside, now they're terrible people who are housing these housing these poor immigrants who are there. You know, a bunch of slave catchers. I said, I can't believe that. It's funny how that happens when they have an attitude when the cameras are there. They knew exactly what they were doing. They did this purposefully. And now she gets to act like she's a martyr, that the system is coming after her. So I don't trust any of these people. Yeah. In my New York Post piece, I wrote about Ras Baraka. I don't trust him. I never trusted him.
No. I don't even know why he got off of that. Like, I understand, like, she's a bigger catch as far as that goes, but I mean, how many J6ers did you come down on that weren't even on the Capitol grounds?
Well, and here's the other part. They probably don't even know that. That's how siloed our information is. These people probably don't even know that. Some of these people still say good people on both sides, and they actually believe that.
That's what's funny is that's what got rich. The good people on both sides is what got rich.
Yep.
Rich was a hardcore leftist.
I would know.
Yeah, you would.
I'm a 90s fucking Democrat, not a hardcore leftist. We need to burn. Well, I still think we need to burn everything down, but that's for a different reason. Anyway, no, but I was never that type of way. I'm just like a 90s kind of Democrat. You know, most of what this administration is right now is what I was kind of situation, and I still kind of am. The only thing that actually changed about my political beliefs is my stance on abortion. That's it.
You're just like me.
Right.
The good people on both sides thing was like if they could lie to me about this, which at that time, it was like 2 years of going on and on about this, maybe a little bit longer. And I for the first time saw it in its full context. I said, if they could lie about this for years, what else can these people lie about? So I just became super skeptical of all media, not just mainstream media, but of all media. I started consuming everything that I possibly could so I can make up my mind when it comes to things, and becoming more media literate. And that's what I've had to do, especially with the work that I'm doing now. Like you have to learn almost like media bias. And you have to be able to, like, for example, there may be an article from CNN and the headline is like off the wall and it pisses you off. But when you read the article, it's like benign. Like these are the types of things that you'll fall into. Because technically the article is fine at CNN, but they just do the shit with the headline to get you all riled up. and very cleverly exaggerate what exactly has happened, just so you can click on it so they can get some money.
And then at the end say what actually really fucking happened. Like that really bothers me. They'll blow hard at the very beginning because they know you're only going to read like 2, 3, maybe 4 paragraphs, and then 5, 6, and 7 is what really happened.
But no, most people don't even read the article. Most people just read the headlines and just go with that's what it is. It's like Donald Trump says he has black friends, and nobody will read the article where it actually explains what he means by that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Case in point, I got to hit this up. I do need to make a correction real quick. Case in point, I do have to hit this up, ladies and gentlemen. We fell for it. Remember this, Davey? This is not real.
It's not.
Government is doing you wrong. You fight on.
No, it's not.
It was CGI.
Apparently, they took clips from this, where her actual interview, which is 8 minutes and 36 seconds, and put this audio above it. Sorry, I need to flip it. My bad.
When your government is doing you wrong, you fight on.
That was this
I was
video.
going to say, it did sound familiar, but I was like, but I don't remember her singing it. Okay, so that makes sense. Yeah.
Right. They just took that over. This is AI, and this is incredibly scary because we are like, no, there is a little jump cut to it. That's fine, but everything matches the hell up, and it looks wrong.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
Are we doing this again? What do we have?
Hold on. My bad.
This is how we scroll out. But yeah, apparently I just want to go ahead and, because I was like, no, this looks real. This is a thing.
It looked real.
No, that didn't happen. It was.
But the thing that I learned is that if it seems crazy, it probably is crazy. Like it probably is not real. So when I saw that, I started laughing and I was like, no way. And then I was scrolling through because there were people who were like, this is real. And I was like,
hold on. You got Al Green avoiding censorship by literally sitting on the House floor and singing. All right. So that's not too far off from reality.
It's not too far off, but to me, all right, I'll give you this. That type of sing, that sounds like a protest song. She's on CNN, a friendly network. There's no need to like sing a protest song. It sounds out of nowhere. Like, so tell me, how's your day going? I was like, wait, what? Like, it just sounds
Point taken.
It's a weird thing. It was funny, but I was like, I'm not sure. So that's when I started like going through the comments, and I was like, yeah, I think it's AI.
I didn't.
But
this
is the environment that we're in now.
Yeah,
you have to.
You can't take everything for what it is. You have to take it with a grain of salt. This is my new favorite clip ever.
Oh God damn it!
12 years of slave.
Turn it up.
Did you think there should?
Why
This motherfucker can't ever do it.
I can.
Here you
When
go.
you saw 12 years a slave, did you think there should have been more years? Was that one of your thoughts?
I even went further than that.
Yeah.
So this is what gets me every time. You see his face. Rich makes that face all the time when I say some wild shit, and Rich goes, "Yeah."
Oh, I'll lead it. Dude, I got him to justify Hitler, pulled it back, and then jumped off the ledge with him. It was amazing.
I'm like, I'm going to buy me a plantation down in Alabama.
Yes.
And I'm going to put all the blacks back on the plantation.
Why is it got to be
This
my
is
state?
wild, dude. This is crazy.
So that I can teach them about family.
Yep.
And about how to work hard and be individuals.
Something tells
and take
me
care of themselves.
this will not be very well received as an idea. When you
What do you think about Jesse Lee Peterson?
I think he used to be somewhat of a serious person many moons ago. I remember watching this old school clip. I think he was on Phil Donahue. That's how
Right.
old that shit was.
Oof.
I remember
And-
that.
Yeah. So I think he was a serious person, but then he ran with the whole coon thing, and he's like, I'm just gonna say the thing. I don't even care. Like he just doesn't even care. But you know what's funny? Actually, I was just talking to a friend of mine, and he got invited to go on his show, but she wasn't familiar with him. So she went on his podcast. You can watch it. She went on his podcast, and when she told me that, I was like, I just started laughing because she was, because I know he was like, so what do you think of white people? Like, and I'm just like, oh man, you weren't ready for that. Like, at least I'd be ready for that. But you
Right.
go on like, oh, who's this Jesse guy? So, do you like the blacks?
I love Jesse literally because he just like the way he put it was shocking as shit. But for him to justify it though, just be like, hey, let me teach you about family and everything again, because y'all fucking need it.
I mean, he's not-
Everybody needs it, literally. But I mean, you have the black community that's literally been torn apart from everything. Like this motherfucker told an ex-CIA agent that he helped get crack into the black community. We had Joe Sweeney on, and he's just like, "Oh, so you gave crack to the black community?" And Joe's like, "What? What the fuck just happened?"
listen. It was a thing, okay? It was a thing. He just said I forgot what we were talking about, and yeah, and I just went, you introduced crack into the black community. What are you talking about?
The messed up thing is, Adam, I swear to God, I can tell you, I can show you back the moment. I could see it in his eyes when it clicked and he was going to say it. Thank Jennifer, thank you for the $2 here. When JOP calls Trump the Great White Hope is funny.
Who's JLP?
You know, he's a.
Jesse
You
Lee
know who
Peterson.
the Great White Hope is? They're always
No, but-
like, who? The Great White Hope.
I love Jesse Lee Peterson. He tells it like it is, and that's what we need. We need a lot more people like that. It doesn't matter what it looks like. Doesn't matter how it sounds. If it rings true, say it. Shit. I mean, if it's a thing, if it's reality, make it fucking reality instead of whatever the hell they create with this. Like this is, I don't know what we've come into as far as a country. How the hell we got here this fucking fast? I'm still looking up at that shit. But
What do you think about Kanye's new song?
oh god, here we go.
I wanna play it so
He's
badly.
poking the bear.
You
He's
see-
poking
you
the bear.
see-
No, we
you see what-
cannot.
You see the thing on the bottom of the preview. What do you think about Kanye's new song? What do you think? Like, do you think we've gone so far to the left that people have just swung so straight back to the right?
In some cases, yes. When you and I actually saw this happening a while ago. When we'll just use Twitter as an example. When Twitter was just banning conservatives for whatever reason,
Right.
I would go on these alternative platforms and I would see the frustration of people who are getting banned on Facebook and banned on Twitter. And some of it is kind of benign reasons as to why they got banned. Or maybe they told someone off one time and that was it. Whatever it was, or mass reported. But I saw them go onto these other platforms, and I could see almost like a collective psychosis where it went from them getting banned to them thinking that it's a greater conspiracy as to what is going on.
Reddit.
And that type of situation takes people with moderate viewpoints and it gives them a home amongst the crazies, because there are crazy people. There are absolutely crazy people that are out there. And so when you say that the person with a moderate viewpoint is the same as the crazies, and they're like, well, shit, I got no one else to hang out with. And then the crazies are like, let me tell you about the Jews. Like, I'm like, oh, I've never heard that before. Interesting. It's just, that's how you, so there's an anger,
It's how it comes back to the Jews.
There's an anger and resentment and all this stuff because this person was pushed into being part of the same group of people, the outcasts. Right. And so I think that's only part of it. But I saw this happening like a couple of years ago. I remember I went on MeWe. I don't know if you've ever been on there before. But I remember going on MeWe and I would just like listen to their conversations. And every day was a doomsday. Like every day, this is the last day on earth. That's like the temperature of being in many of these places, which was supposed to be just like conservative, right?
Yeah,
but you go in there and you're like, no, this is nothing conservative. Like this is just like this is like loony shit. Or like the level of like saviorism heaped on Trump was just like astronomical. Like he's not just your favorite president. He's a superhero. Like it was absolutely wild.
Literally, we're gonna, before we hit this up, Jesus Christ, this is awesome. I love the shit out of this story, officially, unofficially. I don't care. This is amazing, but yeah,
this is one
as
of
far
our,
as that goes. It's literally, to me. Before you hit that up, Davey, pause it. You're gonna have to restart all that. Before you hit that up, to me, it's literally like, you talk about the pendulum swinging all the time, and I told this to Davey too. You talk about the pendulum swinging. We've gone so far left, it has to swing back, and it's going to swing back hard. When do you start pumping the fucking brakes until you get to the point to where literally that shit sandwich you're eating now, all you did was turn it the fuck around and take a bite from the other side and pretend it's better?
Yeah,
it comes to that point, and I do see that swing. Now we have black men screaming Heil Hitler, literally because a dude's just like, hey, hold on, because a few people that happen to be of the Jewish face have fucked me over, so where I can't see my kids, all the crazy shit I'm doing doesn't make a fuck, but I can't see my kids because of some Jewish men, so nobody wants to take me seriously. Nobody's understanding what I'm talking about. Fuck it. Heil Hitler. And I'm just like, why are we here? How did we get this far into this whole thing to where black people are screaming Heil Hitler and everybody's like, no, this is not the road we need to go down, instead of talking about the real problem that this dude is actually insane. And I'm going to be honest. I know it sounds bad, but I don't want him around his kids to fuck him up just as badly as he's been fucked up, though.
All right. So that was my thing when I saw it. The thing that I noticed the most was that he was complaining and not being able to see his kids. Right. So this was less about the Jews, despite the title. It was more about him not being able to see his kids.
Yes. And it was the pain going across that.
Right. And so after listening to it, I only listened to it once. It's not that deep of a song. You need to listen to it multiple times. No.
Davey likes it because it's in everything now. There's a country music version of it. There's an Indian version, Hindu version.
There's a Bollywood version of it. I love it because it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
It became the anthem of the summer for the wrong reasons.
Really? Maybe it's just online in certain I don't know. But anyways, what I was gonna say was the first thing I thought about was, dude, you ain't helping yourself.
Right.
No.
like if you want to see your kids, stop doing crazy shit.
Right.
And stop doing things that piss people off. Like let's say he is anti-Semitic. Just don't act it. Like you don't have to live it out. Then you get to see your kids.
According to Jerry Nadler on the fucking House Rules floor, okay, anti-Semitism should be a nebulous term, so that way it can mean whatever the fuck he wants it to mean.
Yeah, well,
I'm sorry, that just gets
whatever,
me. That hit me
yeah.
fucking hard when he said that, and I was just like, nope. Because that's how we changed racism. That's how we changed
Right.
woman. That's how we change all these things. If we don't take a hard line as far as a definition of words as what they mean, then we go through 100 years of racism being the discrimination of a person or persons based on the color of skin with the belief that one's own race is superior to, hey, you hate people and you have the ability to hold power over them. So you're racist.
Right.
It makes no sense, man.
Yeah, making terms ambiguous is not a good thing. Like just in general, terms have definitions for a reason.
Right.
And so certain terms have multiple definitions, but they have a definition. Like we can identify what these things are. Trying to make everything fluid and circumstantial and, depending on how you feel and how this person interprets it. That's why we have definitions. So, no, I don't agree with that. But it's in the same way like Islamophobia. It's like, well, no, if I'm criticizing Islam as a religion, which I am a Christian, I am not for Islam, right? Because it's
Right.
antithetical to my faith. That's one thing. But it doesn't mean I hate Muslims, right?
Right.
Muslims are people. People can change. I have friends who were raised Muslim and now converted to Christians, right? So,
I'm sorry,
like,
hold on for a second. Tony, hey, thank you for the $5 membos here.
five
Or, I'm
membos.
sorry. Yeah, 5 gifted membos. We got Maynard coming in. Graham and Graham? I'm just going to give it that. Gloria P. Mother Trucker and Helena Habasket.
Anna Bassett.
Welcome.
oh,
We'll see
Alina?
y'all
Yeah.
Saturday. But, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
it's
All
okay.
right, yeah, we have to.
It's all good.
We finish it up. We got to cut the rumble real quick. I'm sorry.
It's all good. Yeah, but we have definitions for a particular reason, and that
Oh, yeah.
for someone to just be like, oh, it should just be ambiguous and nebulous and blah 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 and up to interpretation. It's just like, no, we have definitions for a reason. And when you do that, you get rid of ways where you can legitimately criticize stuff, and you lump everybody in to certain things. And so the person who is legitimately an anti-Semite gets lumped into the people who are just trying to criticize, let's say, Israel. And so everything becomes confusing. And so then one person on one extreme uses the defense of the other, and it just goes back and forth, and everything becomes fucking confusing, and nothing actually progresses.
Until you get to this point, roll it, Davey. Then we'll cut the rumble. Adam, anytime you need to go ahead. We'll just continue on and continue talking until you good. Restart that.
I got
Put
nothing.
some sound to it. What you got?
I don't think there's any sound to it.
Oh yeah, there's sound to it. This is the wildest fucking story I have ever seen in my life, and I will tell anybody and everybody about the fact that Hasidic Jews came out the sewers in New York City.
And Adam lives in Jersey, so Adam knows how gross that is.
Well, to
Adam,
be fair,
before we go, do you know the story? Do you know the story of the sewer Jews?
yeah. He
Okay.
says sewer Jews. Like they're Ninja Turtles.
Let's continue this on the other side, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go ahead and cut. You got 3 minutes. We will see you on the other side.
You're never gonna make it, you're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible, it's not probable, you're irresponsible. Too many obstacles, you gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow, you can't be a pro. Don't waste your time no more. Who the fuck are you to tell me what to do? I don't give a damn if you say you disapprove. I'm gonna make my move, I'm gonna make it soon. And I'll do it cause it's what I wanna fucking do. Cause all these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions, they blocking your vision. But no, you can't listen, that shit is all fiction. Cause you hold the power as long as you're dreaming. There's no way that you make it. And maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it. Are you just gonna take that? Make them take it all back. Don't tell me you believe that. Are you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back? Fight back.